Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. You are enough. You have been enough from the moment you drew your first breath, and you'll remain enough as long as you walk this earth. But too often we forget that. Too often we spend our days trying to measure up, trying to fit in, trying to be something or someone that others will approve of. And in the process, we forget the most important person in our lives, ourselves. I want you to hear me on this. Loving yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. You can't give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself, you'll go through life pouring from an empty cup. You'll chase relationships, opportunities, and achievements thinking they'll fill the void, but they won't. Because the love you're searching for out there, it starts in here. You are unique, and that's your superpower. The moment you truly embrace your uniqueness is the moment your life begins to change. Yet too often we forget this. We live in a world that constantly tells us to conform, to fit into boxes, to act, look, and think like everyone else. From a young age, we're taught to follow the rules, fit the mold, and avoid standing out too much. But let me remind you, greatness is never found in blending in. Greatness comes from owning who you are unapologetically. Think about it, there has never been and never will be another you. Out of the billions of people who have lived throughout history and the billions alive today, no one else has your exact experiences, your perspective, or your voice. That alone makes you extraordinary. But the world has conditioned many of us to see our differences as flaws instead of gifts. Perhaps someone told you that you were too loud, too quiet, too ambitious, too emotional, or too different. And maybe you believed them. But hear me now, what they criticized about you might be your greatest strength. When you embrace your uniqueness, you step into your true power. That means accepting every part of yourself, the parts you love, the parts you're still learning to love, and yes, even the parts you've been told to hide. Maybe you have a laugh that's louder than most, a way of thinking that challenges the norm, or a passion for something others don't understand. Whatever it is, that's what makes you special. Don't dull your light to make others comfortable. If they can't handle your brilliance, that's their problem, not yours. Let's take a moment to talk about comparison. How often do we look at someone else's life, their success, their appearance, and think, why can't I be like that? Social media has only amplified this. We scroll through highlight reels of other people's lives, forgetting that they too have struggles and imperfections hidden behind the filters. But let me tell you, this comparison is the thief of joy. Every minute you spend wishing you were someone else is a minute wasted not appreciating who you are. You weren't meant to walk someone else's path. Your journey is yours alone, and it's beautiful in its own way. Now, embracing your uniqueness doesn't mean you'll always feel confident. There will be days when self-doubt creeps in, when you feel like you don't measure up, and that's okay. Confidence isn't about never feeling insecure. It's about owning who you are even when you feel uncertain. It's about standing tall and saying, this is me and I'm proud of it. The truth is, you can't please everyone. No matter how hard you try, there will always be someone who criticizes or misunderstands you. So why waste your energy trying to be someone you're not? Instead, focus on being the best version of yourself. The right people will appreciate you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. When you start to embrace your uniqueness, you inspire others to do the same. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are, they're not people who followed the crowd. They're people who dared to be different, who stood out, who owned their individuality. That's the kind of person you have the potential to be. By embracing what makes you unique, you give others permission to do the same. You become a source of inspiration, a reminder that it's okay, more than okay, to be yourself. But let me warn you, embracing your uniqueness isn't always easy. It takes courage, it takes self-awareness, and sometimes it takes going against the grain. You might lose people along the way, friends who don't understand your journey, acquaintances who preferred the version of you that played small, but let them go. The people meant to be in your life will celebrate your authenticity, not shy away from it. So how do you start? You start by getting to know yourself. Spend time alone. Reflect on what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what makes you you. Pay attention to the things that light you up, the things that come naturally to you, and the things you've always loved but maybe set aside to fit in. Reclaim those parts of yourself. Celebrate them. And when that little voice in your head tries to tell you you're not enough, remind it of the truth: you are enough just as you are. This world doesn't need another copy. It doesn't need you to be like anyone else. It needs you to be you. Because when you show up as your authentic self, you bring something to the table that no one else can. And that, my friend, is where your power lies. So stop trying to fit in where you were meant to stand out. Embrace your uniqueness and watch how your life transforms. The way you talk to yourself matters more than you might realize. That inner voice, the one that runs nonstop in your head, can either build you up or tear you down. The sad truth is, for many of us, that voice is our harshest critic. It finds faults in everything we do. It reminds us of every mistake we've ever made, and it whispers doubts when we're standing on the edge of something new. But here's the thing, you can't silence the inner critic by ignoring it. You have to confront it and replace it with a voice of kindness and truth. We've all been there, replaying moments in our heads where we fell short. Maybe you said the wrong thing in a conversation, missed a deadline, or didn't hit a goal you set for yourself. And instead of acknowledging that you're human, that mistakes are part of life, your inner voice piles on guilt and shame. Why can't I ever get it right? What's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. These thoughts play on repeat, and over time, they can wear you down. They chip away at your confidence, your sense of worth, and your ability to see yourself clearly. But let me ask you this, would you ever speak to someone you love the way you speak to yourself? If a friend came to you after making a mistake, would you tell them, you're a failure or you're not good enough? Of course not. You'd encourage them. You'd remind them that one moment doesn't define them. You'd tell them to keep going, to learn from it, and to try again. So why is it so hard to extend that same grace to yourself? The way you talk to yourself matters because your mind believes what you tell it most often. If you constantly tell yourself you're not capable, your actions will reflect that belief. You'll shy away from opportunities, hesitate to take risks, and hold yourself back. But if you start replacing those critical thoughts with affirmations of your worth and your abilities, you'll begin to see a shift. You'll walk with more confidence. You'll take on challenges with a new mindset. And you'll stop basing your value on other people's opinions or external achievements. Changing your inner dialogue isn't about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring areas where you can grow. It's about being honest with yourself while still being kind. It's okay to acknowledge when you've made a mistake, but instead of berating yourself, ask, what can I learn from this? Or how can I do better next time? These questions help you grow without tearing yourself down in the process. Growth doesn't come from self-criticism, it comes from self-compassion. The inner critic often speaks the loudest when you're stepping outside your comfort zone. That's when the doubts creep in. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if they laugh at me? But the truth is, those thoughts aren't facts, they're fears. And fears only have power if you let them. The next time your inner critic starts shouting, pause and challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought true? What evidence do I have to support this? You'll often find that the fears are baseless, just stories your mind has created to keep you in a safe, familiar place. You can also train yourself to amplify the positive voice inside you, the one that celebrates your wins, no matter how small. When you accomplish something, no matter how insignificant it might seem, take a moment to acknowledge it. Maybe you finished a project at work, or maybe you simply got out of bed and faced the day even when it was hard. These are victories, and they deserve recognition. By celebrating these moments, you teach your mind to focus on the good rather than fixating on the negative. Another powerful way to combat the inner critic is through gratitude. When you catch yourself spiraling into self-doubt, shift your focus to the things you're grateful for. Gratitude has a way of grounding us and reminding us of all the good in our lives, including the good within ourselves. Take a moment to list 3 things you appreciate about yourself. Maybe it's your determination, your creativity, or the way you show up for others. Gratitude for yourself is just as important as gratitude for external blessings. You have to remember that the inner critic didn't appear overnight. It was shaped by past experiences, by the things people said to you, by the times you felt rejected, by the moments you doubted yourself. But just as that voice was created over time, it can be reshaped. It takes practice, it takes patience, and it takes a commitment to treating yourself with the respect and kindness you deserve. The journey to silencing your inner critic and replacing it with a voice of encouragement is ongoing. There will be days when the critic feels louder than ever, when it's hard to see yourself in a positive light. But on those days, remind yourself of this: you are not your mistakes. You are not your doubts. You are a work in progress, and progress takes time. The fact that you're even willing to work on how you speak to yourself is a testament to your strength and your desire to grow. So the next time your inner critic tries to take the mic, don't let it have the final word. Speak back with kindness, with truth, and with love. Remind yourself of who you are and what you're capable of. Because the way you talk to yourself will determine the way you show up in the world. And you deserve to show up as your best, most confident self. Learning to set boundaries and protect your energy is one of the most important acts of self-love. Yet for many people, it feels uncomfortable or even selfish. We're taught to be accommodating, to say yes, to avoid rocking the boat. But here's the truth: you cannot give your best to the world if you're constantly running on empty. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary for your well-being and your ability to show up fully for the things and people that matter most in your life. Think about your time and energy as a limited resource. You only have so much of it in a day. Every request you say yes to, every person you give your attention to, and every task you take on chips away at that resource. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself depleted, stretched too thin, and unable to focus on the things that truly matter to you. And when you reach that point, it's not just you who suffers. Your work, your relationships, and your health all pay the price. Saying no is one of the hardest yet most powerful things you can do. For some, it feels uncomfortable because they've been conditioned to believe that saying no will disappoint others or make them seem unkind. But saying no isn't about being mean, it's about being clear. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are valuable and that you have a responsibility to yourself to protect them. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving to everyone else, you'll have nothing left for yourself. It's also important to remember that not every request deserves a yes. Before agreeing to something, ask yourself a few simple questions. Does this align with my priorities? Do I truly have the time and energy for this? Will saying yes bring me closer to the life I want, or will it take me further away? If the answer is no, then it's okay to decline. In fact, it's essential to decline. Saying yes to things that don't serve you is the quickest way to lose sight of your goals and your well-being. Setting boundaries also means being mindful of the people you allow into your life. Some relationships energize you while others drain you. Think about the people you interact with regularly. Do they encourage you, inspire you, and bring out the best in you? Or do they leave you feeling exhausted, unworthy, or undervalued? Protecting your energy means making tough decisions about the relationships in your life. It means distancing yourself from those who constantly take without giving, who criticize without supporting, and who drain your energy without adding value. Now, this doesn't mean cutting people off abruptly or without compassion. It means being honest with yourself about the impact certain relationships have on your well-being. It's okay to limit your interactions with people who bring negativity into your life. It's okay to set boundaries that protect your peace. And it's okay to prioritize relationships that are reciprocal, supportive, and uplifting. Your well-being matters, and the people who truly care about you will understand and respect your need for boundaries. Another aspect of protecting your energy is managing the commitments you take on. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of overcommitting. There's always one more project to take on, one more favor to do, one more event to attend. But saying yes to everything is a surefire way to burn out. Protecting your energy means learning to prioritize and delegate. It means understanding that you can't do everything, and that's okay. You don't have to be everything to everyone. Focus on what truly matters to you and let go of the rest. It's also crucial to create space in your life for rest and recharge. Rest isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Protecting your energy means giving yourself permission to step back, to say no to constant busyness, and to carve out time for yourself. Whether it's taking a walk in nature, reading a book, meditating, or simply doing nothing, these moments of rest are vital for your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. They allow you to recharge so you can show up fully for the things that matter most. And let's not forget about technology. In today's connected world, it's easy to feel like you're always on email, social media, and endless notifications can leave you feeling drained without even realizing it. Protecting your energy means setting boundaries with technology too. Turn off notifications when you need to focus. Limit your time on social media if it leaves you feeling anxious or inadequate. Create tech-free zones or times in your day to give your mind a break. Remember, you don't have to be available to everyone all the time. Protecting your energy is about recognizing your limits and honoring them. It's about understanding that your time, attention, and well-being are precious and treating them that way. It's not about shutting people out or refusing to help others. It's about finding a balance that allows you to care for yourself while still being there for the people and things that truly matter. The moment you start setting boundaries and protecting your energy, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel lighter, more focused, and more in control of your life. You'll have the space to pursue your passions, nurture meaningful relationships, and take care of your well-being. And most importantly, you'll realize that protecting your energy isn't just an act of self-preservation, it's an act of self-love. Investing in yourself is one of the most profound ways to demonstrate self-love and create a life of meaning and fulfillment. It's about recognizing that you are your greatest asset and the time, energy, and resources you dedicate to your personal growth are the best investments you can make. Many people spend their days pouring into others, working tirelessly for their jobs, families, or relationships, while neglecting the most critical foundation of all themselves. But if you don't prioritize your own growth and well-being, everything else in your life suffers. Investing in yourself starts with understanding your worth. For so many of us, the idea of putting ourselves first feels uncomfortable or indulgent, as though we're taking something away from others by focusing on our needs. But the truth is, when you grow, when you strengthen yourself, when you operate at your best, you have more to give to the world. You can't pour from an empty cup. Investing in yourself is about filling that cup, replenishing your energy, and becoming the best version of yourself so you can show up fully in every area of your life. One of the most important ways to invest in yourself is through continuous learning. The world is constantly changing, and if you're not growing, you're standing still. Whether it's reading books, taking courses, attending workshops, or learning new skills, every bit of knowledge you gain expands your perspective and enhances your ability to navigate life. Education isn't just about formal schooling, it's about curiosity, about feeding your mind, and about pushing yourself to grow beyond what you already know. Think about the topics or skills that excite you, things you've always wanted to learn but never made time for. That desire to learn is a signal. It's pointing you toward your potential. Follow it. Another way to invest in yourself is by nurturing your physical health. Your body is the vessel that carries you through life, and taking care of it is not optional, it's essential. This doesn't mean you need to aim for perfection or follow every health trend that comes along. It's about creating habits that support your well-being, like eating nutritious food, staying active, and prioritizing rest. Exercise isn't just about how you look, it's about how you feel, how you function, and how much energy you have to pursue your goals. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Taking care of your body is a daily act of self-respect, one that pays dividends in every area of your life. Your mental and emotional health are just as important as your physical health, and investing in them is critical. This might mean seeking therapy or counseling to process past experiences and develop tools to manage life's challenges. It might mean practicing mindfulness or meditation to create space for clarity and calm in your mind. It might mean journaling to reflect on your thoughts and feelings, or surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. Your mental and emotional well-being are the foundation of your resilience, your joy, and your ability to face life with strength and grace. Investing in yourself also means creating time for your passions and creativity. What lights you up? What makes you lose track of time because you're so immersed in the joy of it? Too often, we push these things aside, telling ourselves we're too busy or that our hobbies aren't productive enough. But your passions are not frivolous. They're essential to your happiness and fulfillment. Whether it's painting, writing, playing music, gardening, or exploring the outdoors, these activities feed your soul. They remind you of who you are beyond your responsibilities and roles. Financial investment in yourself is another area that can't be overlooked. This doesn't mean spending money recklessly, but rather directing your resources toward things that enhance your growth and quality of life. Maybe it's enrolling in a class, hiring a coach, or buying tools that help you pursue your goals. Maybe it's setting aside money for travel, experiences, or opportunities that expand your horizons. Being intentional about where you allocate your money is a reflection of how much you value yourself and your future. Your environment also plays a significant role in your ability to invest in yourself. Look around at the spaces you inhabit, your home, your workspace, even the people you spend time with. Are they conducive to your growth and well-being? Your environment should inspire you, support you, and reflect the life you want to create. If it doesn't, it might be time to make changes. Declutter your space, surround yourself with positive influences, and create an environment that nurtures your mind, body, and soul. Investing in yourself means giving yourself grace and patience. Growth is not a linear process, and it doesn't happen overnight. There will be times when you stumble, when you feel stuck, or when progress feels slow. That's okay. What matters is that you keep going, that you keep prioritizing yourself, and that you keep believing in your worth. Every step you take toward investing in yourself, no matter how small, is a step toward a better, stronger, and more fulfilled version of you. When you invest in yourself, you're not just improving your own life, you're influencing the lives of those around you. Your energy, your growth, and your happiness ripple out into the world, inspiring others to do the same. And while the journey of self-investment is deeply personal, its impact is universal. By choosing to invest in yourself, you're choosing to honor your potential, your purpose, and the incredible value you bring to the world. Embracing your flaws and imperfections is one of the most liberating acts of self-love. For so long, society has conditioned us to believe that perfection is the ultimate goal. We're bombarded with images of ideal lives, bodies, and successes, and it's easy to internalize the idea that we must measure up to some unattainable standard. But here's the truth: perfection is a myth. It's an illusion that keeps us chasing something that doesn't exist. The beauty of life and the beauty of you lies not in perfection, but in authenticity. When you embrace your flaws, you free yourself from the impossible burden of trying to be something you're not. You stop hiding, stop apologizing, and stop pretending. You start showing up as your whole self, exactly as you are. That doesn't mean you stop growing or striving to improve. It means you stop viewing your imperfections as failures and start seeing them as part of what makes you unique. It means acknowledging that you're human and giving yourself permission to be exactly that imperfect, real, and wonderfully one of a kind. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are it's not their perfection that draws you to them, it's their authenticity. It's their ability to be vulnerable, to admit their mistakes, and to show up fully as themselves. We connect with others not through their polished exteriors, but through their honesty and relatability. When you embrace your flaws, you not only deepen your connection with yourself, but you also allow others to connect with you on a more meaningful level. You give them permission to be real too. The journey to embracing your imperfections begins with self-awareness. You can't accept what you refuse to acknowledge. Take a moment to reflect on the things you consider flaws. Maybe it's something about your appearance, your personality, or the way you handle certain situations. Ask yourself, where did these ideas come from? Did someone tell you that you weren't good enough? Or did you pick up these beliefs from societal standards? Often, the things we label as flaws are based on comparisons to others or unrealistic expectations. Recognizing this can help you start to question whether those beliefs are serving you or holding you back. Once you've identified your perceived flaws, the next step is to reframe how you see them. Instead of viewing them as weaknesses, try to see them as part of your story. For example, maybe you're someone who's overly cautious or hesitant in making decisions. Instead of berating yourself for not being more decisive, recognize that your cautious nature likely stems from a deep sense of responsibility or a desire to make thoughtful choices. That's not a flaw, that's a strength. It's all about shifting your perspective and finding the value in the very traits you once criticized. Embracing your flaws also requires practicing self-compassion. Far too often, we hold ourselves to a higher standard than we hold anyone else. We forgive others for their mistakes, but struggle to extend that same grace to ourselves. When you make a misstep or fall short of your expectations, remind yourself that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the journey to success. Every mistake is a lesson, every stumble is an opportunity to grow, and every imperfection is a reminder that you're human. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a dear friend who's going through a tough time. Be kind, patient, and understanding. It's important to recognize that flaws are not just things to tolerate, they can be sources of strength and creativity. Some of the greatest breakthroughs and innovations have come from people who embrace their differences and turn them into advantages. The very things that make you feel out of place may be the things that set you apart in the best possible way. Think about all the ways your so-called imperfections have shaped your experiences, your perspective, and your approach to life. They've made you who you are. And who you are is valuable. A powerful part of embracing your flaws is learning to let go of the need for external validation. Many of us are caught in the cycle of seeking approval from others, thinking that their acceptance will make us feel whole. But the truth is, no amount of external praise can fill the void of self-rejection. True confidence comes from within. It comes from accepting yourself as you are, without needing anyone else's permission. When you embrace your flaws, you take back the power you've given to others to define your worth. This journey also involves setting boundaries with people who don't honor your authenticity. Not everyone will understand or accept your imperfections, and that's okay. What's not okay is allowing their opinions to dictate how you feel about yourself. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your whole self, who see your worth beyond your flaws, and who encourage you to show up as you are. The right people will appreciate you for your authenticity, not for how closely you fit some arbitrary mold. Embracing your flaws means celebrating your progress, no matter how small it may seem. Self-love is not a destination, it's a lifelong practice. There will be days when you feel confident and unstoppable, and there will be days when self-doubt creeps in. On those harder days, remind yourself of how far you've come. Celebrate the moments when you chose to show up authentically, when you chose self-compassion over self-criticism, and when you chose to see your flaws as part of your beauty. Embracing your flaws is not about ignoring areas where you want to grow. It's about building a foundation of self-acceptance that allows you to grow without shame or fear. It's about recognizing that your worth is not tied to how perfect you are, but to how authentically you live. When you embrace your flaws, you unlock a deeper sense of freedom, confidence, and joy because you're no longer trying to be someone else. You're fully embracing the beautiful, imperfect, and extraordinary person that you already are. Prioritizing your happiness is one of the most empowering decisions you can make in life. Too often, people put their own joy on the back burner, convincing themselves that it's selfish to pursue what makes them happy. They sacrifice their desires for the sake of others, their responsibilities, or societal expectations, and in doing so, they lose touch with what truly fulfills them. But here's the truth: when you prioritize your happiness, you not only enrich your own life, but you also create a ripple effect of positivity that touches everyone around you. Choosing your happiness means recognizing that it is a priority, not a luxury. Society often glorifies self-sacrifice, as though constantly putting others first is a badge of honor. While caring for others is important, it should never come at the cost of your well-being. Your happiness matters. It's the foundation for a life of meaning, productivity, and fulfillment. When you make time for what brings you joy, you become more energized, more present, and more capable of giving your best to the people and things you care about. The first step in prioritizing your happiness is understanding what truly makes you happy. This might sound simple, but for many people it's not. Life's demands often drown out our own desires, leaving us disconnected from what brings us joy. Take a moment to reflect what lights you up. What makes you feel alive, at peace, or deeply content? Maybe it's spending time in nature, pursuing a creative hobby, traveling, or connecting with loved ones. Whatever it is, these moments of happiness are not random. They're clues pointing you toward the life you're meant to live. Once you identify what makes you happy, it's essential to create space for it in your life. This requires intentionality. Happiness doesn't just happen, it's something you have to cultivate. That might mean setting boundaries with your time and energy, saying no to obligations that drain you, or carving out dedicated time for the things that bring you joy. For example, if painting brings you happiness, block out an hour each week to immerse yourself in your art. If spending time with friends recharges you, make plans and stick to them. Treat these commitments to your happiness with the same importance you would any other responsibility. It's also important to recognize that happiness is not a destination, it's a journey. Many people fall into the trap of thinking, I'll be happy when ... when I get the promotion, when I lose the weight, when I find the perfect partner. But happiness isn't something you postpone for the future. It's something you can choose to cultivate in the present, regardless of your circumstances. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means finding moments of joy, gratitude, and peace even in the midst of life's difficulties. Happiness is a practice, not a result. Prioritizing your happiness also means letting go of the need to please everyone. This is one of the biggest barriers to self-love and joy. If you spend your life trying to meet everyone else's expectations, you'll always fall short. Because no matter what you do, someone will have an opinion. The moment you start living for yourself rather than for the approval of others, you reclaim your freedom. You stop seeking validation and start creating a life that feels right for you. This is not selfish, it's necessary. Your happiness is your responsibility, and no one else can prioritize it for you. Another key aspect of prioritizing your happiness is practicing gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for shifting your focus from what's lacking in your life to what's abundant. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more success, more possessions, more achievements. But true happiness doesn't come from accumulation, it comes from appreciation. Take time each day to reflect on what you're grateful for, whether it's the support of a friend, the beauty of a sunrise, or the simple fact that you're alive. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel good in the moment, it trains your mind to notice the positive, even when life feels overwhelming. It's also crucial to understand that prioritizing your happiness doesn't mean avoiding hard work or responsibility. It's about finding balance. There will always be tasks and obligations that aren't inherently enjoyable but are necessary for your growth or well-being. The key is to approach them with a mindset that connects them to your broader sense of purpose and fulfillment. For example, working long hours to build a career you're passionate about or to provide for your family might not always feel joyful in the moment, but it contributes to a life that aligns with your values and goals. Another way to prioritize your happiness is by surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. The energy of those around you has a profound impact on your well-being. Are the people in your life supportive, encouraging, and positive? Or do they drain your energy and make you doubt yourself? Cultivating relationships that nurture your happiness is not about cutting people off recklessly, it's about being mindful of the influence they have on your life. Spend more time with those who bring out the best in you and less with those who don't. Your circle should be a source of joy, not stress. Remember that prioritizing your happiness often involves taking risks and stepping out of your comfort zone. Growth and joy go hand in hand, and sometimes the things that make us happiest require courage. Maybe it's pursuing a dream you've put on hold, trying something new, or letting go of something that no longer serves you. Fear of failure or rejection can hold you back, but happiness often lies on the other side of those fears. When you prioritize your happiness, you give yourself permission to live boldly, to take chances, and to create a life that's authentically yours. Prioritizing your happiness is about aligning your life with your values, desires, and true self. It's about understanding that your joy matters not just to you, but to the world. When you're happy, you're a better partner, parent, friend, and contributor to your community. Your happiness is not just a gift to yourself, it's a gift to everyone around you. Loving yourself means embracing your worth, flaws, and happiness unapologetically. When you invest in yourself, accept your imperfections, and prioritize your joy, you create a life that reflects your true value. Self-love is not selfish, it's the foundation for a fulfilled and meaningful life. Choose yourself every day, you're worth it.